So if you're looking for me to talk about the Packers and the Buccaneers and their matchup on Sunday, make sure you go to the channel and check out that video because I've already done that one. I'm here instead to talk about the Bills and the Chiefs, the AFC Championship game. This is a matchup that I've been looking forward to for at least a few weeks and felt like, several weeks back as the season was really kind of taking form. Not just because these teams finished 1-2 in the AFC in the regular season, but just looking at it objectively, these felt like the two teams with the best momentum, with the best structure, with the best chance and best road to be able to get to this moment in time where they were going to be facing off in the AFC Championship game with a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. And, certainly the first big, most notable piece of news that changes so much about this matchup come Sunday is the fact that Patrick Mahomes has cleared the concussion protocol. Easy for me to say. Sounds like I got a concuss. Which, let's be clear. You really think they were going to let the Kansas City Chiefs go into this matchup on Sunday without Patrick Mahomes? If he was close, he was playing. So you had to know this was coming all along. But thankfully, it has. Because who wants to see an AFC Championship game without Patrick Mahomes, unless maybe you're a Bills fan. But hopefully if you're a Bills fan, you would say, no, I want to face the best. I want to be against the biggest stars. I want to face the best possible team because when you make it to the Super Bowl, if you beat that team, then you feel like you really truly earned it instead of always having that asterisk of, yeah, but they beat Chad Henne. You know what I mean? But I'm really excited about this game. While Brady versus Rodgers is incredibly exciting in its own dynamic, as you're talking about two of the legends, two of the icons of all time in the history of the NFL at the quarterback position, you look at this matchup, and it's potentially a foreshadowing of things to come over the years. You're looking at two of the youngest, brightest stars at the quarterback position in the AFC, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. And you're going to sit there and say, you're putting Josh Allen in the stratosphere of Patrick Mahomes? No, I'm not saying that. Like, there's clearly distinction. But let's not pretend like Josh Allen didn't play at an MVP level this year. Let's not pretend like the Buffalo Bills didn't have a fantastic season. Let's not pretend like they weren't rewarded for making the move in 2018 to go up from 12-7 in that draft and take my QB1, and then having the patience to realize it's going to take them some time to adjust to the league, to work on some things, and meanwhile you build up the team around him, and that's exactly what they did, and in his third season they have been rewarded for that patience. Good lesson for some other teams to learn. Be patient with a young quarterback, but at the same time build around him. And especially if they've shown you some flashes of what they could be, cling on to that and find ways to unleash more of that. But yeah, I'm really excited about this game. I hope to God this is going to live up to everything that I expect it to be. Because you got two teams that are very, very hot. The Chiefs obviously were the number one seed, got home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Yeah, they lost in Week 17 to the Chargers, but who gives a crap? And if anything, they weren't playing anybody then anyways. But you look at that divisional round matchup against the Browns. Like in that second half, once Mahomes went down with the concussion, that could be a real momentum killer. That could be that moment in time where the Browns take over and they go on to win that game. But the Chiefs found a way to do just enough to get the job done. And it is those type of defining moments, championship moments in a season that you have that can give you confidence going into these games with a chance to make a repeat trip to the Super Bowl on the line. So if you're the Chiefs, you got to feel like you've got lots of good momentum because you got it done last week without Mahomes at the key times of the game. And if you're the Bills, you got to feel really good. You're coming off of 2 straight playoff victories. You beat the Colts. You're talking about you beat an 11-win Colts team, then you beat another 11-win team last week in the Ravens, and you really imposed your will on them. Played a great game defensively, shut down the Ravens and their offense, and Lamar Jackson eventually actually put him out of the game. Not dirty-wise, but just saying. Like, you got to feel good about this. Now, granted, these two teams played back on Monday night in Week 7, and the Chiefs beat the Bills 26-17. That was a long time ago, though, when you think about it. 2+ months ago. Clyde Edwards-Helaire on that night had 161 yards rushing. Travis Kelce had 2 touchdowns receiving. Josh Allen had kind of a rough night, was held to 122 yards passing, did have 2 touchdowns, but still not a banner night for them. But a lot has changed during this time. over the past couple of months, and the Bills seem like a clear and present threat and danger to the Kansas City Chiefs, and I would largely agree with that. But in order for them to have a real shot of upending the defending Super Bowl champions, they got to have some things go their way on Sunday. And what are some of those keys for Buffalo? Number one, Josh Allen has to be big time. He has to be. He can talk about matchups, you can talk about everything else. You're not going to be able to hide him away. You're not going to be able to have him stumble to a rough outing and expect to go to the Super Bowl. Like, Josh Allen is going to have to be a star in this game. He has to match Mahomes strike for strike, throw for throw, blow for blow, or at least come really damn close to it. Really damn close to it. And if he does, the Bills got a shot. But they have to also get some running game going outside of Josh Allen. And this is where it's time for Devin Singletary, whoever it is out of that backfield for the Bills. They got to be able to figure out a way to get some type of balance in that offense, some type of running game outside of Josh Allen. Because if you're going to go into this game against the Chiefs and not be able to run the ball and have your leading rusher be Josh Allen, and you're going to be primarily a one-dimensional team on offense, and doing that against the Chiefs, you will lose. Plain and simple. You will lose. Defensively, Tre'Davious White has to do some work on Tyreek Hill, or that Bills secondary just in general. They got to figure out a way to contain him and not let him go off. And then they've got to protect the ball and keep it away from the Chiefs. Like, this is a road playoff matchup, Super Bowl on the line, so obviously turnovers are always going to be a key, and they certainly are here. And for the Bills, while they certainly have the offensive firepower to hang in there with the Chiefs in a high-scoring game, I certainly think they do. On the flip side, if you turn it over once or twice, the Chiefs are going to take those turnovers, make them points, and make you really regret and pay for what you've done. For the Chiefs, the thing here is for the Bills, I will say, is they don't have a ton of pressure in this game, whereas the Chiefs do. They're the defending champs. They're the ones that have got to go out there and basically defend their crown. And that's an entirely different thing. So, some keys for Kansas City on Sunday. You got to force the Bills to stop Travis Kelce. In their first matchup during the regular season, Travis Kelce had 2 touchdown receptions. You got to force the Bills to show you that they can account for and defend Travis Kelce. Because as great as Tyreek Hill is as a weapon, Travis Kelce is every bit as important and critical a weapon for this Chiefs offense. And if the Bills have to be worried about stopping Kelce over the middle, then that might open up big plays for Tyreek Hill down the field in the passing game. You got to keep Patrick Mahomes in the game. That sounds really stupid, but, he did just get knocked out of the game last week. And I'm saying that to say, let's avoid the designed runs for Mahomes in situations like that where you run the risk of something like that happening to him. Sure, the offensive line's got to protect him, but that makes sense. But let's not do anything that's potentially, because this is the first time the quarterback sneak, if you remember last season, was that in the Denver game where he dislocated his knee, and then here, the rollout on 3rd and 1 and the freaking concussion. Let's be a little more careful, Mr. Reed, with how we deploy Patrick Mahomes as a runner in this game. You get what I'm saying? Be careful. And then they got to get some type of running game going. Just kind of balance out the offense and really frustrate the Bills. Whether it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back into the lineup or Le'Veon Bell playing, so that way Williams doesn't have to shoulder the large portion of the burden. Just some type of running game that hopefully isn't Patrick Mahomes, because you need him to be upright and healthy the whole game if you're going to have a chance. And as I talked about, I referenced it a moment ago. It's an interesting spot for both teams because the Bills, yeah, you can say there's a lot of pressure because there's a chance to get to the Super Bowl. That's always naturally pressure. And it's the first time in 27 seasons they've been this close to getting to the Super Bowl. Yeah, so I get it. There is certainly pressure there. But the Bills can also come in and say, for Christ's sakes, we were 13-3 in the regular season. We come in with nothing to lose. Nobody predicted us to be in this spot or felt we could be in this spot. True or not, they can tell themselves and sell themselves on that concept. And they could go in there and play lucid free because they don't have the pressure of trying to defend the chip like the freaking Chiefs do. And whereas the Chiefs, the whole perspective of things is different now. Andy Reid has his ring. Patrick Mahomes has a ring. Now they have a chance to make history, to make it to back-to-back Super Bowls. A lot of teams don't do that. So much changes in the NFL from one year to the next, and a lot of times Super Bowl winners and losers don't even make the playoffs the next season, let alone win playoff games, let alone get back to the Super Bowl. So the Chiefs are going to have the burden of pressure of expectations of trying to get back to where they were last year, and they've got to come through. And we'll be very, very curious to see how the Chiefs handle that difference of perspective of viewpoint. They're not the hungry Lions trying to get the taste of that championship waters. They've already been there, and they're trying to get back there. And maybe it will mean that Mahomes and Coach Andy Reid will be even more composed in this spot, or it could be that pressure becomes their undoing. It is hard to know how they're going to react because it is different. The Bills can play loose and free. It is important for the Chiefs to not get too caught up on the goal and just to go out there and be themselves and play loose and free as well. I hope this game is good on Sunday. I really do. There's a chance the Bills can win this game for sure. If Josh Allen can step up to, or even, God forbid, exceed the level of Patrick Mahomes' play in this game, they have a very good chance to win. Absolutely great chance to win. As the Bills seem like that type of team that can ugly it up a little bit, force a turnover here or there, or have this big play here or there defensively or offensively, like they find a way. This is a pretty damn good Buffalo Bills team that has absolutely positively earned the right to be in this spot. But if you think I'm picking against Patrick Mahomes in this spot, you're nuts. As much of a fan of Josh Allen I am, this is Patrick Mahomes we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, he is that dude. And now that Andy Reid's enjoyed championship gold, I have a feeling he wants some more. And when you look at the Chiefs, like, while the Bills can get some big plays and some spectacular plays out of their passing game, which is what makes them dangerous because they can hit some of those explosive plays, I just trust the consistency of this Chiefs offense more. I say this, and this is going to be some type of 12-9 defensive battle, but I expect the Chiefs to win something like 27-23. Which would be a great showing, but a disappointing showing for Buffalo, and would lead to the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl for a second consecutive year. Moral of the story is, if you're a fan of an organization that doesn't get it, you draft your quarterback, you develop your quarterback, and you get into ease types of spots. That's how it's supposed to work. Must be nice. So make sure you let me know in the comments who you're picking for this Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening matchup with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line, AFC Championship game. You got the Bills, you got the Chiefs. Why? I want to know. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and follow me on Twitter. All right, I'll be back after the game on Sunday night to give you a recap of what happened, to talk about it, and all the shenanigans.